I get up in them gusts and she's singing. Yeah, that let me know it's real. And every time I go there, I give that girl a feel.
What's up, y'all? This is T.
And K. Every day.
So today's video is a little bit different than
It's a lot of it different.
Yeah, it's a lot different than what you'd expect. We're gonna do a video about communication, I guess. Yeah.
Yep, communication. We're gonna get like super real and talk about, I would say, not our first like argument, but definitely our first big fight. And what it was about and the lack of communication, and yeah, it gets deep. So, are you ready to rumble?
All right, y'all, we're about to get into it right here, right now.
Basically, it's gonna be awkward regardless, because I think I'm pretty uncomfortable talking about this on camera. We don't usually, we're like,
We keep our shit on the inside. We
Yeah.
don't let nobody,
right.
you know.
We don't, well, A, we don't really argue, and B, when we do argue, it's definitely very private. You will never catch us like online talking about arguments or anything like that. And it's hard to talk on camera about it because it's like, I don't know, it's emotional and all that crazy stuff. So it's probably gonna be a weird ass video is what I'm trying to get at. So I guess we were just talking about like how we were gonna bounce from subject to subject, and I think we're just gonna wing it.
Yeah, so like,
Just tell my side of the story, and then TJ will tell his side of the story, and then yeah, we'll just go from there.
should we say like how we resolved it?
Definitely how we resolved it, for sure. Things that we learned, because there was like, it was definitely a learning experience for both of us, and how we'll handle certain situations in the future will definitely be a lot different. So it'll be good for like other couples if like, I don't know, you guys have similar arguments, or if your communication isn't like super on point. I don't know, hopefully this will.
Yeah, hopefully this will help you out. I'm sure it will, because I mean, these are real experiences, you know, we're not making this shit up.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I will dive in and just say that yesterday was a really hard day. I took a big L personally, and you know, those days are never fun, especially when you think it's gonna go one way and then it goes a completely different way. Like, that's just always hard. Also, I struggle with anxiety, so it was an anxious situation, took that L, and I was just like overwhelmed. And then that was like the beginning of the day. And as we've said before, we don't live in the same city, so he knew that I had something going on, you know, and obviously texted me in the morning and was like, good luck. And then I wasn't able to talk to him until after everything was done. And so I had texted him the same thing I texted basically everybody that knew what was going on, and that was that it didn't go as planned. And my mom was in town, and we were doing like work stuff with my manager out there and stuff. So I kind of dove right from like hard situation to work mode to packing my kids to get ready to go to their dads, and it was just like one thing after another. And mind you, I'm like trying to stay okay through it all and not have like an anxiety attack and breakdown and be a mental nutcase. So holding me together through all this is like, I get to see TJ. Like at the end of all of this, like I'm super excited. I get to go see my baby. So I'm like telling myself that mentally to like get through everything. And he was wonderful and had texted, actually he called me, FaceTimed me, and I couldn't talk because when he had FaceTimed me, I was in the meeting, so I declined it and texted him, couldn't talk, and it was like a short message, like, can't talk right now, and then he FaceTimed me a little bit after that, and I don't remember exactly like what the situation was, but I remember I couldn't take the phone call for whatever reason. I was on the phone. I was on the phone dealing with the situation. So couldn't take the call. And then I finally was able to like get to my phone and tell him that I was on my way, which to me I was like, I'm on my way. I'm so excited. Like, it's been the longest day. It's been the worst. I couldn't wait to see him. But instead of saying all of that, I was just like, I'm on my way. To me, I was like I said, like, that was what was holding me together, was like, I get to see TJ. But it was like earlier in the day. He's not off work until like 4:30. So I get into town at 2, and I decided I'm gonna stop and hang out with a friend. And so I do that, and he texts me like, are you gonna be there when I get home? And I had said no, because I'm gonna be at this friend's house. And he had asked me what time I would be home. Now this is like an easy question. Obviously it's not like that big of a deal, but because I was having a bad day and I felt like I was being questioned, and I really don't like giving times, because it makes me anxious, because I'm like super nervous that I'm gonna be late or whatever. Especially like in my past relationship, that was a huge deal, and so it like gives me anxiety. So I was like, I don't know what time I'm gonna be home. And then from my point of view, all of a sudden he was just pissed, right? Like all of a sudden he was just like, you haven't talked to me all day, and you haven't thought about me, and you have basically ignored that I've been trying to, be there for you. And I kind of lost my shit. I think that was like a breaking point, not necessarily because of what you said, but just because of the day, and because I was holding back for so long, that was when I broke down.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll end it there, because I don't want to tell too much, It's your turn, babe.
So the night before had already been tough on her. So I was already, in.
Amanda's here.
Oh shit! I was like, who the fuck?
Amanda's here.
I don't know why that scared me.
Hi.
Baby, I like it. The way you move.
You guys do no theme song.
We're making one.
Decided.
It's happening. TJ is gonna write our intro.
Yep, I already got it written. I just gotta find a beat, and I gotta get some studio time. How my side of the story goes. The night before, she had already had a rough day, and I was encouraging her through that already, and I knew she was gonna go through another rough morning. Well, at the worst, it was gonna be a bad morning. So like, I'm trying to
Check on me.
Yeah, I'm high as fuck.
He was basically trying to check in on me, make sure I was cool.
So like the whole morning, I'm pretty much checking up on her, making sure she's cool. And she responded. She said, "I love you," and that was pretty much it. I know she was she had a tough day ahead of her, or a stressful day, I should say, a stressful day ahead of her. So I didn't pay no mind to it. Later on, she texted me that and said it didn't go well. And then I was like, all right, bet. Well, that was right around the time of my break at work. So I'm like, so I called her, and she didn't answer because she was busy. I didn't know she was busy. She just didn't answer, and she just said, she said, I don't want to talk right now. I said, okay, bet. I'm gonna call you on my lunch. She said, okay. I get to my lunch and I call her, she misses the call. All right, bet. So I text her, I hope you're doing all right, babe. 45 minutes go by after my lunch. I text her, I hope you're doing okay. I text her like 2 or 3 times. And then she texted me back like an hour later, and she said, I'm on my way back. I'm on my way in town. So right there and now, I'm like, like that's just that made me feel some type of way, because like you're disregarding the effort that I'm putting in towards you. You just like Like, I understand you're going through a hard day, but I'm here to help you, and you're not trying to receive my help. You know, that's how I'm feeling. She didn't tell me that she's going through a bunch of other stuff. You know, that after that, you know, she didn't tell me that she got all this other stuff going. You know, the communication was off. So I'm just thinking, like, she's really like, is this what's really going on? So, you know, I didn't say nothing. And then she was like, I'm about to go hang out with my with my friend. And I'm like, okay, bet. What time you gonna be home? No, I was like, all right, bet. Are you gonna be home when I get home? And then she said no. I'm like, you know, I felt some type of way about that right there, because it's like, you know, I'm doing all this. You know, we have planned a whole week to see each other. I've been trying to help you all day, all night type shit, and I don't even get to see you when I get off work. You know, again, I didn't know what she had going on all the rest of the day, because she didn't tell me nothing. You know, so I'm like, all right, bet. So what time will you be home? And then she said she doesn't know. So I'm like, you don't know. And then that's when I pretty much tell her how I felt. I'm like, you know, I've been doing all this for you, and you're not even, and it seems to be like unnoticed. And then she doesn't respond like in the way that I thought she would respond. You know, she had been going through a super stressful day, so she just like fired back. She didn't really, I don't think she really like took it in.
Yeah, no, I definitely
She didn't really take it in. She just like,
I felt attacked.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I felt I had been like holding everything in all day, and mind you, his messages too were being left on read, because like I had read them, but I didn't have time like in that moment to like text him back. So
yeah.
So in his mind, he's like, she's ignoring me, and in my mind, I'm like, he's pressing me, and yeah, it was definitely a lack of communication for sure.
So yeah, finally, you know, got to each other, and when we finally, you know, got to each other's face, it didn't go that well.
No.
It didn't go that well. She was already too fired up because of what I said in the text, so she was already ready to just let me have it pretty much, and I was hearing her out, you know, but she didn't want to hear me out type shit, you know. I'm like, all right, well, honestly, if you're not trying to hear me out, then it is what it is. Like, you know, if we're gonna, we can break up type shit, you know. We ended up splitting up because you know, we couldn't see eye to eye. We couldn't even agree to disagree type thing. So it was like, it was to me, it was one of those things where, you know, I did all this for you, and you can't even, you know, you can't even acknowledge it, and then now you don't even want to hear me out. It's like, all right, bet, you know, I can't even. There's nothing else to say. So at this point, I'm pretty much cold-hearted, because you know, I'm just like, all right, I'm content with the breakup. You know, she's still going through it. You know, and I can tell she's still going through it. But at the end of the day, she broke up with me. You know, that's how it went down. So I'm like, all right, you know, it is what it is. So it gets to the point where we start packing. I packed up a couple of things of hers. Well, a lot of stuff, and then I, you know, pack it into her car. We had another argument, you know, that didn't go well. She left, came back. She came back so we could talk it out again. It didn't go well again. I said I said a couple of things out of emotion that I shouldn't have said, and she kind of took it literal, and she started packing up everything. Like everything, every single thing pretty much that she paid for. She was just like, it's all coming with me.
Yeah, because while he's feeling unacknowledged, I was feeling like all day I've basically just like needed him. Like, I just need my boyfriend. I just need my man. And then when I did get to him, I felt like that like, you know, oh, I need you and I need us to be good wasn't there, and all of a sudden we're battling too. So it just super overwhelmed me, because like now I'm dealing with thing after thing after thing, and they're all like big emotional things, and I just broke down. And then in the mix of the, you know, emotional, like over dramatized packing and stuff, TJ makes a comment about it being his house. That is what set me off. That was a trigger, and I was like, okay, cool. If it's your house and that's what this is, then I'm gonna take every single thing that I've ever bought, because I stay here a lot. So like, you know, I bought a lot of stuff like for us to use together, and it got pretty petty. I packed his toothbrush.
She packed my toothbrush, yo.
I bought it.
She
I was like,
she said, put it in the back. I was like,
hella petty, so petty.
it got to the point where she looked under the sink and she said, I bought the trash can. I was like, do you want to take it? All right, we'll go ahead, you know. Well, and then it got to a point where she was just like so overwhelmed, you know, because I'm just watching her pack. She's talking to me. I think she's like waiting. She's like waiting for me to like stop her or something. But like I'm at this point, I'm like I'm cool, because you know she didn't want to hear me. I'm straight. So she's like, why are you arguing with me? I'm like, you're talking to me, and then she just like runs to the bathroom.
I think I was definitely waiting for like him to like stop everything, like stop, you know? And he was being so cold at that point, and I've never seen him be like that, because like my man's very affectionate and loving, and like that's just something that is like something that I love about him, is that he like, no matter if we're mad at each other or he's irritating me, like we have to say we love each other when we get off the phone. That's a big thing, you know? So for him to like just completely kind of like shut it off and be cold-hearted was like a what the fuck? Like it like definitely checked me kind of in that moment. And I think then I was like, that's when like, yeah, I truly broke down, like physically, mentally, like broke down when I realized that like he was really being cold and distant. It was hard.
And then that was pretty much the end of our argument, because, you know, I didn't want the argument to last anymore. You know, I didn't want the argument to happen in the first place, and the last thing I want to do is, you know, prove my point even when she's like already going through it. So I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna cut this out, and we save it for tomorrow, you know. So I go in there, I help her out, you know, I get her back right, get her in the bed, and then we just chilled. Honestly, we didn't say much to each other, you know, because the emotions are still flowing. You know,
I think we were both exhausted too at that point. Like we were both so just exhausted.
It was like midnight. Like we had been like arguing all day type shit. You know, I made us some food, and then we passed out. And she wanted candy, so I woke up.
In the middle of the night, I had to have been like 3 o'clock in the morning, you guys, and I was literally like, I'm craving chocolate. And the next thing I knew, I had like hella candy. Oh, yeah. He does love me.
The next morning is when we got to really talk about, you know, how our feelings when tempers were cool, emotions were, you know, weren't flaring at all.
Yeah, I think that's when we were able to see each other's point of view and like really stop and communicate. Learn, I guess, what we should have done. Like I for sure know that, you know, one of my toxic traits is that like when I get to a point of anger, I just start talking, like, and I start picking and looking for an argument and looking for a way out and looking to like almost make it more dramatic. And I know it sounds crazy and like not fun at all, and it doesn't happen often, but it's definitely something that I do when I'm hurt. And I think I was so beyond hurt by his coldness. Not that that was his fault, you know. I like when you're hurt, it doesn't give you an okay to then lash out. And so I was lashing out instead of saying, hey, you're hurting my feelings. Like I'm hurt right now. I'm really not doing okay. And instead of saying that, like I just continued. And the other place that I know that I messed up is days are busy. and you don't always have to like communicate with your significant other. Like, in fact, space is great. But when you know that the other one is having an important day, or there's something like really important going on, like obviously he loves me, and so if I'm going through it, he's going through it. And instead of me seeing that and understanding that, like, I could have taken 5 seconds out of my day to be like, hey babe, it's been really busy, I can't wait to see you, I'm gonna talk to you when I see you, and it probably would have solved everything, you know. So definitely have to work on my communication and understand that, like, just when I'm going through a hard time doesn't mean that he's not. Like, just because it's about me and it doesn't involve him doesn't mean that it doesn't directly affect him. So that's definitely what I learned out of the whole situation.
I learned, you know, I shouldn't have acted, I shouldn't have spoke out of emotion. You know, I pretty much like, yeah, I mean, I fueled the fire, you know, when I said stuff that I said, and it just kind of made it worse. So pretty much what I learned was, you know, not to say stuff out of emotion, you know, saying that this is my house, or saying, why are you even in my house, you know? And the reason why I said that, by the way, was because, you know, we had broken up, you know, but she wanted to come inside for a comfort because she needed to smoke. We gonna say it.
I super needed
to smoke, you know, and I was gonna let her smoke. I had no issue with that, you know. But then, like, arguments kept, you know, it kept spewing out of her, you know. It seemed like she was just nitpicking, you know, at the time. So I was just like, why are you even here? Why are you even in my house? You know, and then she heard my house. Oh, that's all she heard. Like, she didn't like take nothing else. She just heard my house, and she's like, okay, man. Well, let me take everything out. So, you know, that's what that happened. You know, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just be, you know, I shouldn't have spoke that, you know, that was too much. I knew that was something that would irk her, you know, because that's a smart comment, you know. You shouldn't respond to stuff that you know is going to be an argument, you know, especially when it's not something you're arguing about in the first place, you know. So
yeah, basically, if it's not going to be like a productive conversation, then it needs to just stop. Like, the conversation just needs to stop. And we did not stop the conversation, and it got more and more destructive.
Yeah, exactly.
But after sleep and candy, we were able to, like, talk it out this morning, and we're definitely not breaking up.
No, we're back together. We actually packed everything this morning.
Yeah, we actually unpacked everything this morning, so that's how we spent the morning. And then we went on a lovely morning date, and things are good. We had a good day today.
Yes, we did. And
we wanted to share this because it's real, and because not everything that, like, there's a lot of YouTube couples, obviously, and, like, not everything is, like, rainbows all the time. Like, we struggle, and I think it's important for people to know, and hopefully you guys can take from it too. Like, if you're getting on each other's nerves, or you have a big disagreement, or you guys simply, like, ours was literally miscommunication and, like, not knowing how each other felt, like, just stop for a second and remind yourself why you love that person, and, you know, the connection that you have with that person. Because I can say that as soon as I did break down and TJ took the time to, like, make sure I was okay and get me into bed, instantly I wasn't mad anymore. I was like, I love this man. Like, even when he's angry with me, he can comfort me and be there for me, and I needed to remind myself of that. So if you guys need to, like, take a breather and, like, hey, I need to not talk to you for 10 minutes to remind yourself of that, like, do that for sure.
For sure. You said that pretty well.
Thanks, babe.
That's what I was telling you. You're a way better speaker than that.
Only when I'm winging it, though.
Miscommunication is a thing, so you really just you got to think back to the root of why you guys are, you know, really arguing, you know, and then, you know, listen to each other speak how you feel without responding, you know, listen to everything they have to say, and then, you know, go about it, you know, how you can solve that from there. You know, don't react to smart comments because if it's not gonna lead to nowhere. Once you see the smart comments coming, you might as well just back out.
Abort mission.
Yeah, back out because it's
Abort
not gonna go
mission.
nowhere. You know, try again another day.
Yeah.
Type shit, and it's okay to just push it. It's okay to just push it off. You know, it's okay to.
Everybody
push
says
your pride
don't go to
aside.
bed angry.
Yeah, that's cool. Nah, that's cool. It's
Sometimes
cool
you need to go to
bed.
bed angry.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. It's okay. Like he was still sleeping next to me. You know,
yeah.
like it's
still
we still
cuddle.
woke up together.
We still cuddled last night. All that. So you know, it's okay to just push it to
Take
the
time.
side.
Take your time. It's okay to take your time.
Yeah, pride is not a thing when it comes to, you know, relationships. You gotta work as a team.
Especially for people who like struggle with like anxiety. We both
Yeah,
have anxiety and we both have different things that trigger it. We'll do a video. We'll do another video on anxiety because we've been wanting to do that. We just haven't really talked about how we're gonna
Facts.
approach it. But that's another big thing too, is like anxiety played a big part. So I won't get too much into that right now, but it did. On another note, we both got new toothbrushes. So our smiles are bright and our breaths are fresh.
Yeah, I bought. I knew the toothbrush was here, but I was like,
Packed
yeah,
home.
she can't take away my next toothbrush. I was like, hell no.
No more
I
packing.
bought that toothbrush. Put that back.
Put your name on it in Sharpie.
Put your toothbrush back too. All right?
I'm done with you. I cannot stand you. Thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget, if you haven't, subscribe to our channel and comment. And I always respond to your guys' comments. I don't know about him. He kind of sucks at
I
it.
be forgetting.
It's fine. I'll respond back to your comments. But I do respond back. Subscribe, like, share, do all of that good stuff.
Hey now.
And yeah.
Like, what's it? T and K every day.
Oh my gosh, babe. Beep. I'm gonna blink. Follow us on Instagram. It's T&K every day. I'll drop it below. You guys will be able to see it. Don't worry.
See, this is why.
And turn on your notifications so that you know when we
Period.
drop a new
We
video.
always coming out with
New shit.
fun learning activities, smoking.
There's a lot of smoking.
Yeah, we smoke.
Also, say hi to Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
She came, and yeah, we're actually gonna smoke. So
There's more.
have a lovely night.
Some more.
Good vibes.
Peace out.
Bye. Why did you do that?
I don't know, cause I get on the camera and I gotta do something because I can't just stand there when the camera's on. I gotta do something.
Do a little shun.
Yeah, I just shaved y'all.
I just wish my baby hairs were the way they were when I like did them, because they were cuter than this before.
You look gorgeous.
Thanks, babe.